Welcome back to second session on antihypertensive drugs. In this session, we would be covering RAS inhibitors, calcium channel blockers, and beta blockers. Firstly, we will look into the RAS inhibitors. To understand RAS inhibitors, we must be thorough with the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. This has been discussed elaborately in the previous video. The link to the video is given in the description box. Renin helps in the conversion of angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 is in turn converted to angiotensin 2 with the help of the enzyme angiotensin converting enzyme. And this angiotensin 2 acts via the angiotensin receptors to produce vasoconstriction, aldosterone release, and norepinephrine release, and all this serves to increase the blood pressure. Drugs which act on the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system act either by inhibiting renin or by inhibiting the angiotensin-converting enzyme or by blocking the angiotensin receptors. Aldosterone antagonist has already been covered in the first session of antihypertensive drugs. RAS inhibitors include renin inhibitors, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, and angiotensin receptor blockers. Firstly, we look into ACE inhibitors. Some of the drugs in this group include enalapril, ramipril, and perindopril. These are one of the first line antihypertensive drugs. Advantages of using ACE inhibitors as antihypertensive drug. There are no major electrolyte imbalances like that of diuretics. There are no metabolic disturbances. These drugs prevent albuminuria. That's why these drugs are safe in diabetic nephropathy. They are safe in asthmatics. They do not precipitate bronchospasm like that of beta blockers. And there is no impairment of exercise tolerance. And these group of drugs are especially preferred in diabetic nephropathy, myocardial infarction, and heart failure. Adverse drug reactions associated with ACE inhibitors. The angiotensin converting enzyme is involved in the metabolism of bradykinin. When this enzyme is inhibited, the bradykinin levels raises, and this results in angioedema and dry cough. These drugs can also cause hyperkalemia. And remember, ACE inhibitors are strictly contraindicated in pregnancy as they are teratogenic. I've seen many kids write ACE inhibitors are safe in pregnancy. So please note that ACE inhibitors are contraindicated in pregnancy. Contraindications to ACE inhibitors include pregnancy and bilateral renal artery stenosis. Remember, unilateral renal artery stenosis is not a contraindication to ACE inhibitors. If you know the answer why ACE inhibitors are contraindicated in bilateral renal artery stenosis, please put your answer in the comment box. I'll discuss the answer in detail in my last video on antihypertensive drugs. Moving on to angiotensin receptor blockers. Some of the drugs in this group include losartan, telmisartan, and candesartan. These group of drugs block all the actions of angiotensin 2 by blocking the angiotensin receptors, thus preventing vasoconstriction, sympathetic stimulation, and aldosterone release. So, what are the advantages of angiotensin receptor blockers when you compare it with that of ACE inhibitors? These group of drugs have all the advantages of ACE inhibitors, plus these drugs do not cause angioedema and dry cough. Moving on to the last group of drugs among RAS inhibitors, it is renin inhibitor. You have only one drug in this group, that is aliskiren. Since you have only limited experience with this drug, these drugs are not considered as first line antihypertensive drug. Calcium channel blockers. Drugs in this group include verapamil, diltiazem, cilnidipine, and nifedipine. Verapamil and diltiazem are non-dihydropyridines, whereas cilnidipine and nifedipine are dihydropyridines. Calcium channel blockers are considered first-line antihypertensive drugs. Mechanism of action of calcium channel blockers as antihypertensive drugs. These group of drugs act by blocking the L type of calcium channels. When the calcium channels in the heart is blocked, it reduces cardiac contractility. As you know, calcium is a quintessential element required for contraction. When the calcium channels are blocked, the cardiac contractility naturally decreases. It also reduces impulse transmission in the SA node and AV node. Thereby, by reducing the cardiac contractility as well as conductivity, the cardiac output is reduced. And when the calcium channels of the smooth muscles of blood vessels are blocked, it causes vasodilatation and thereby reducing the peripheral vascular resistance. And in this manner, by reducing the cardiac output as well as the peripheral vascular resistance, calcium channel blockers can reduce the blood pressure. The non-dihydropyridines like verapamil acts by reducing the cardiac output, whereas dihydropyridines act by reducing the peripheral vascular resistance. Nifedipine, which is a short-acting calcium channel blocker, is no longer recommended as an antihypertensive drug because it causes sympathetic stimulation and it can precipitate angina or ischemic heart disease and increase the cardiovascular mortality. Long-acting dihydropyridines like cilnidipine and amlodipine can be used safely. Advantages of calcium channel blockers as antihypertensive drugs. These group of drugs do not impair work capacity like beta blockers. They are not contraindicated in bronchial asthma, variant angina, or peripheral vascular diseases. They are safe in elderly and in black races. These group of drugs do not cause any male sexual dysfunction like thiazide-like diuretics. They do not cause any metabolic side effects like beta blockers or thiazide-like diuretics. They are considered safe in pregnancy, unlike ACE inhibitors, especially the nifedipine sustained release tablets. Adverse drug reactions associated with calcium channel blockers. These group of drugs are notorious to cause ankle edema. These can cause palpitations, flushing, and headache, which is due to the reflex sympathetic stimulation. It can cause constipation because of relaxation of the gut muscles, and it can cause GERD because of relaxation of the lower esophageal sphincters and bradycardia. Wondered how calcium channel blockers causes ankle edema? These drugs causes dilatation of the precapillary vessels more compared to the postcapillary vessels in the dependent parts, thereby increasing the hydrostatic pressure. Therefore, the fluid oozes out, resulting in the formation of edema. Beta blockers. Drugs in this group include propranolol, levetolol, metoprolol, and nebivolol. Once considered as first-line antihypertensive drug, beta blockers has gone out of favor from the latest JNC 8 guidelines and NICE guidelines. This is because beta blockers do not prevent stroke or reduce cardiovascular mortality. Beta blockers are nowadays prescribed for hypertension only if there is a coexistent condition like heart failure or a myocardial infarction. Mechanism of action of beta blockers as antihypertensive drug. There are mainly five mechanisms by which beta blockers reduce blood pressure. Initially, there is a reduction in the cardiac output due to reduced heart rate and force of contraction. Later on, there is a reduction in the total peripheral resistance, which is to accommodate for the fall in cardiac output. This is considered as a major mechanism of beta blocker as antihypertensive drug. Beta adrenergic stimulation is required for renin release. By blocking the beta receptors, beta blockers would reduce the secretion of renin. The beta 2 receptor present in the presynaptic nerve terminal is a facilitatory receptor. Stimulation of beta 2 receptor increases noradrenaline release. So, beta blockers, by blocking these beta 2 receptors, decrease noradrenaline release from the sympathetic nerve terminal. And finally, beta blockers also have some central sympatholytic action. Drawbacks of beta blockers as antihypertensive drugs. Beta blockers reduce work capacity. These drugs are not safe in asthmatics and in patients who have peripheral vascular disease because they block the beta 2 receptors. These drugs can alter lipid profile. This can cause loss of libido and sometimes can cause nightmares and depression. In vasospastic angina, these drugs are absolutely contraindicated because due to unopposed alpha mediated vasoconstriction, it can precipitate or worsen vasospastic angina. Among the first line antihypertensive drugs, drugs which are considered safe in pregnancy induced hypertension include nifedipine sustained release tablet, which is a calcium channel blocker, and labetalol, which is a beta blocker. Drugs which are absolutely contraindicated in pregnancy include ACE inhibitors and thiazide like diuretics. To summarize, first line antihypertensive drugs include ACE inhibitors, angiotensin receptor blockers, thiazide like diuretics, and calcium channel blockers. If you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And please do give your valuable suggestions in the comment box below.